Today I'm connecting with you over the art of giving and receiving. And I'm taking inspiration from Buddhist secular thought and also the beautiful support of Dr. Betty Martin's Wheel of Consent and her fantastic work around that. And if either one of these resonate with you, I would strongly encourage you to do a further dive into whether it's Dr. Betty Martin's Wheel of Consent and the work that she's done around that, or secular Buddhist thought. Regardless of your religious or spiritual background, secular Buddhist teachings can really help enhance whatever framework and whatever belief systems you already have. When we talk about the art of giving and receiving, I think most of us think of ourselves as pretty good givers, for being honest with ourselves. Very few people recognize how we receive and how both sides of this equation really shape connection, intimacy, and well-being. In secular Buddhism, and I'm paraphrasing and sharing my basic understanding. So let me preface this. I'm by no means an expert on secular Buddhism. As I mentioned, drawing inspiration from the teachings and the limited amount that I know around these teachings. In secular Buddhism, generosity is really considered one of the foundational practices for cultivating compassion and reducing attachment. Generosity isn't just about giving things away. It's also about the intention behind a gift, whether it's a tangible gift, an act of service, but a gift. And I encourage you to join me in walking through 4 common motivations that we all have for giving. And in doing so, I invite you to reflect on these in your own life as we go through them. Motivation number 1 is giving from obligation. This is when we give because we feel like we should. We don't want to disappoint someone. Or maybe we're afraid we'll seem selfish. We're trying to avoid conflict, maybe. And from the outside, it can look generous, but inside, it often feels restrictive or draining, not in alignment with what we authentically are feeling, and sometimes even can start to build some resentment. This form of giving often reinforces our attachment to our identity. Maybe we want to be seen as a good person instead of giving freely from the heart in an authentic way, which might sometimes mean saying no. When we give from obligation, our body feels it long before our mind consciously acknowledges it. Motivation number 2 is when we give for virtue. This is giving because maybe we want to embody certain values, right? We're connecting with our empathy or our compassion. We have this idea of, oh, well, this is what a caring partner does, or this aligns with my morals, my values. This makes me feel proud of who I am. And while it perhaps could be deemed to be healthier than giving out of obligation, it still has this element of self-image in it. Virtuous giving can feel uplifting, and sometimes, though, it can become this quiet pressure to maintain this ideal version of ourselves, which also can end up leaving us feel constricted or sometimes even resentful, drained, depleted. Motivation number 3 is when we give for exchange, which this is extremely common, and most of us, if not all of us, give for exchange probably on a daily basis. This you will find in relationships, families, and the first example that comes to my mind is in workplaces. We enter into an employment contract with the understanding, the agreement, that we give our time, our knowledge, our skills, and in return, we receive pay and perhaps other benefits for our services, our gifts. This happens in relationships. I'll do this for you, and I'll anticipate that later you'll do something for me. which gets a little bit stickier in terms of relationships. Maybe I'm giving to create goodwill or to earn appreciation or to receive some sort of thank you, gratitude, acknowledgement. And there's nothing inherently wrong with this. As humans, we naturally navigate this reciprocity. Where it starts to become sticky is when this exchange is unspoken. It is unconscious. It is not agreed upon, which can lead to resentment because either one person or both parties, those expectations then are not met. And back to this example of our employment contracts, one of many reasons why we enter into this formality, whether it's written or spoken or however you and the other party or parties have laid out those agreements, those expectations have likely been agreed upon. And ideally, they are upheld. When they are not upheld, hence the disappointment and totally valid, the agreement was broken. When these expectations are not discussed, when there isn't that dialogue around reciprocity, that can get sticky. And I'm sure you can think of several examples in your own life of times when this has occurred. And the fourth and final motivation behind why we give as humans is giving from thankfulness and openness. And this is the most expansive and arguably the most difficult to connect with in terms of our generosity. It's grounded in gratitude, and it emerges naturally from a full heart. It asks nothing in return. This kind of giving feels spacious, joyful, connected, whole, fulfilled. This is the kind of generosity that softens the ego, opens our heart, and connects us with genuine compassion. It's not self-sacrificing, it's self-sustaining. And I do want to add a caveat in there to eliminate any confusion around this. Giving from a place of openness and compassion without expecting anything in return is not the same as sacrificing yourself, giving, and allowing other people to bulldoze over you. The act of giving from this place of openness is isolated. You are giving from an open heart, and whatever this other person or parties do is completely separate from this. It is not attached. They do not go hand in hand, which means if the receiver of your gifts is mistreating you, abusing you, humiliating you, you are not disconnecting from giving from an open heart by protecting yourself. So I hope that's clear. Though we talk about giving and our motivations for giving, let's also acknowledge the often forgotten art of receiving. I think a lot of people struggle far more with receiving than giving. And so I'd like to ask you to think about this. When someone gives to you attention, help, affection, time, money, a tangible gift, how do you receive it? From what place in your heart are you connecting with this gift? Maybe you deflect, so you might say something like, oh, you don't have to do that. Or maybe you shrink, thinking or even saying, I'm not worth all this. I can't believe you went to all this trouble for me. Or maybe you receive from an open, grounded, worthy heart. Receiving is an equal partner to giving. So when you receive fully and openly from a full heart, you are gifting the giver the opportunity to experience this generosity. You complete the circle. And acknowledging Dr. Betty Martin's Wheel of Consent and her beautiful work around this, I think fantastically reinforces this idea. I'm summarizing it, of course, but her Wheel of Consent describes 4 dynamics of giving and receiving based on who is the gift actually for. And most of us confuse this. So, for example, when we give to others, do we hope that they validate us? Do we receive something while secretly feeling obligated to give back? Or do we do things for others that they never actually asked for and then feel resentful that they don't feel grateful? So this wheel that Dr. Martin created can really help us clarify who is doing, who is it for, and is everyone truly consenting, saying yes, feeling yes? And I think this wheel is often applied in a romantic setting, but really can be applied in so many situations. This really can be taken so broadly into so many different contexts in terms of giving and receiving, which is why I really felt it valuable to highlight her work here. So when we give and receive from a place of clarity, consent, and connection, it becomes clean. It becomes beautiful. It becomes connected. There's no resentment. There's no guessing. There's no subtle emotional debt. It's just a beautiful circle. So in connecting with you over this art of giving and receiving and reflecting on this, I would encourage you to explore a few things in your own life, maybe this week if you have the chance. Maybe before you give, you pause and you ask yourself, am I giving from obligation? Am I giving to maintain some sort of identity of either how I view myself or how others view me? Am I giving to create some sort of an exchange? And if I am, was that agreed upon? And I'm fulfilling my end of the contract? Or are these assumptions? Is this exchange all based on assumption? Or am I giving from openness, from love, from gratitude? And as well, when receiving, can you notice your body? Are your shoulders tense? Or can you soften? Does this gift land? Are you allowing it? Maybe you don't love the gift, but can you allow it to land and receive it? Can you feel worthy of receiving this without repayment? Letting this generosity flow both ways to complete this rich circle and this experience for both the giver and the receiver. Most relationships, romantic, familial friendships, they thrive when this giving and receiving flows freely without hidden strings or assumptions or expectations. And so, again, to round this out, I would encourage you to just notice for yourself, not to judge, not to correct, but to notice how you give, how you receive, and acknowledging your presence in receiving me in your feed today, joining me and allowing me to both give and receive, and extending my gratitude for that opportunity to both give and receive from you in this moment. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And if this resonated with you, I'd love to hear what your feelings are about such a big topic. And until next time, sending you lots of love, lots of care. You deserve it. You're so worthy. Take good care.